CRYPTILIANs, crypto crackheads, and BPro nerds and altcoin nerds. This is going to be a Bitcoin dominated video, whole market type of idea video. In the description section, since we're getting close to the beginning of the month, I'm leaving details and a link to a video that shows you a pretty complete walkthrough of what it would be like to join a crypto and altcoin and BPro and trading driven community. So go ahead and check out what's in the description section. Also, right now I'm having a giveaway going on, so go check me out on Twitter, retweet my recent post, and let's get into the video. So there's only one line to rule them all right now. That is the 4-hour 89 EMA. That's really all you need to be looking at in specific regard to overall market direction. Now, the purple line is the 89 exponential moving average. I'm on the 4-hour chart, okay? So this line doesn't work, for example, if I'm on the daily chart. You only have one ping off of it, right? So going to the 4-hour chart, you have the consolidation and the breakout. First dip, second dip, third dip, and current dip. There's a clear bounce. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, almost absolutely perfect touch points. And I don't know if there's another line in crypto that does that for very recent Bitcoin price action. Now, a lot of times you'll see this sort of thing happen on the daily 10 EMA. However, how Bitcoin or another asset is trading, sometimes they get into a groove of buyers stepping in when the same EMA is hit. Sometimes it is out of coincidence, sometimes it is not. So let's look at the same 4-hour chart, but I will show you that on different assets, sometimes it gets into a different groove of bounces. So now I'm going to put on the 55 EMA, which is not as good as an indicator for Bitcoin, but it is for, take a guess, Cardano. So if you have the notion that Cardano is leading the market, which it pretty much is, if you had to argue with the idea, which I love arguing with myself as well, argue with the idea that the 89 4-hour EMA on Bitcoin's the one line to rule them all, the best argument probably to that would probably be the 55 4-hour EMA on Cardano. So what do I mean by this? And so you can see how it just held that line almost perfectly. One perfect touch, two perfect touch, has yet to touch it. So the reason why these two different lines, similar lines, but different lines on the 4-hour charts of Cardano and Bitcoin, in my opinion, are the lines to rule them all right now, is because if they're broken, that increases hugely increases the chance of a downturn beginning. How big of a downturn, I don't want to dominate this video with guesses. And if you want downside targets, simply look at my past Bitcoin videos over the last 2-3 weeks. I've had pretty similar targets. However, I have risen those targets recently because Bitcoin went a hell of a lot higher than I thought. Right? So again, if there's one thing that Bitcoin's good at doing, it's surprising the hell out of you. And if you're talking about Bitcoin price all day, well, what that means for you is it's going to make you look stupid sometimes, which then has content creators like myself be super careful with what they say, not really give very much general direction, because then people go on your channel and make silly comments, which is perfectly fine. You feel free to leave those comments. However, I personally choose to be a little bit more direct, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I eat my words, and I follow up with that, telling you, hey, I missed this. And I've covered that completely on my channel time after time, especially with current price history. I got a couple things massively wrong, and I went over, hey, this is what I missed, and I apologize for missing it, since you follow me as a community member, perhaps not even on Patreon, but on YouTube. And so I go over that. So that's my style. So right now I'm trying to be very, very specific with what I'm saying, because I think it'll help you. And if you think I'm just plain wrong, well, at least you know what to look at, because you'll be looking at this 55 EMA on Cardano. And if you see it bouncing off, and you're thinking, no, crap's going up, price is going up right now. Well, you still know what line to look at. So even in the event I'm wrong with something extremely specific that I'm saying right now, at least you know that target to figure out, okay, he's right, he's wrong. It's a pretty clear cutoff. right? So there are some shades of gray that could happen here in regards to this not playing out and I'm completely wrong, which again, I'm making one singular guess. So the chance of me being not perfectly right is the chance of me not being perfectly right is pretty high, because this is one scenario out of how many possible situations within the chaotic world of price movement, right? So I want to be very clear. I'm simply making one guess so that you can focus on these lines and make your own best judgment. So one shade of gray that I can see here is that you could get a touch down to a lower EMA and then one more blast off. That could absolutely happen. So let's on Cardano put on the 200 EMA. It might be right about so the price of Cardano could come down, swipe the 4-hour 200 EMA, which aligns usually with the daily 55. So I'm going to draw this in orange, and when I switch to the day, the blue line that rises should be very close, pretty close to this orange line that I'm drawing in right now. So this orange line that I just drew in, I'm going to switch to the daily. And I think I already have the 55 on. So once the daily gets up here, as time progresses, right? So with time progressing, the daily will be on a pretty similar trajectory. The daily 55 EMA will be on a pretty similar trajectory as the 4-hour 200 EMA. So there are a ton of people who trade the daily chart, which they are looking at the daily 55 and become buyers when price hits it, especially if they're bullish. And a lot of people trade the 4-hour chart. Those are two huge groups of people. And given that those EMAs typically align very closely, and sometimes they're in line with the weekly 10 and other very strong higher time frame EMAs, they get a lot of bounces. So if I had to guess one specific way that what I'm saying is incorrect, that the 4-hour 55 EMA on Cardano is broken and you get a higher high, if that were to happen, I think that's what would happen. Either that you get a bounce off of the daily 55 or the 4-hour 200 EMA. So if you're a Cardano fan, you're trading Cardano, those would be my my downside targets for Cardano, particularly if you're bullish. Now, let's say you're bearish and you think things are getting ready to tank because this is a relief rally, it's got to end, you got to form a higher low. That's the camp I'm in. However, I'm willing to change my opinion when the charts show me that. And right now the charts are kind of saying we might have another push before there's a higher low. It's very, very possible. However, even if you're bearish, I would still remember those downside targets because you're likely to get a bounce around there, right? So if the 4-hour 200 EMA is going something like this, even though leveling it off might not be the correct thing to do with future price action, it could keep going up. However, I'm just making a guess here. Extending this roughly, at the roughly same slope, maybe leveling off a bit. And then I draw in the daily 55 and make a guess of its trajectory as well. And then I move to the week, which I think this is the weekly 10 right here, and only put on the 10 EMA, which is, honestly, if I had to pick one EMA to trade the rest of my life, I would probably pick the weekly 10. Maybe the 4-hour 200. I kind of like both of those. But anyway, you can see Cardano's been more bullish than what I had anticipated last time I drew this in. You can see that all three of these are coming in at one general area. Very powerful EMAs. So this orange one is the 4-hour 200 EMA. Very powerful EMA, mostly, not mostly, but much attributed to the fact that the daily 55 is almost always right at it as well. So you have essentially like a double support component baked into the 4-hour 200 EMA. It's just a powerful line. And so is the daily 55, similar reasons. But the weekly 10 is also right here. So what could easily happen is a wick down here, a bounce, and one more higher high. And maybe things could just actually keep charging. I mean, way past $3. That is totally possible. And that is the most likely scenario in the event that that the 4-hour 55, going back to Cardano, assuming that is broken and there is not some type of correction, that would be the way that I would see it happen. Making my one singular guess incorrect. I think that would be the most probable way that I end up being incorrect with this one guess. All right, which is, I made a preface on this. I know I'm actively making one guess. The chance of it being this one guess being right is not that great, and I've already told you the reasons why I'm making a singular guess. So let's see what this means for Ethereum. I think Ethereum's just following right now, to be honest with you. So Ethereum's getting a big bounce right now. Let's see what line Ethereum has been following. So it hasn't been following the 4-hour chart. Let's just go like this. Hasn't been following the, I like the 8-hour chart a lot. So it's essentially following two different EMAs on the 8-hour. The 8-hour 10 and 21 EMA. So you can see here that the 21 EMA, once you got this cross of these two EMAs, which is a bullish cross because red or the smaller time frame going above the bigger time frame, you have a bounce on the yellow line, bounce on the yellow line, bounce on the yellow line broken. Now it's finding support at a lower EMA, which is the 8-hour 55. So this is quite a bit different of a setup because both Bitcoin and Ethereum have been following the same EMA line, but Ethereum's push has been relatively weaker. Therefore, it's used one down after it broke the yellow line, which is the 8-hour 21 EMA. However, bouncing off the 8-hour 55 is still a pretty aggressive run and often means that you have another push left. So things right now really do look like there's going to be another whole market push. Now, let's say that we are focused on the week only. So this is the second portion of the video, perhaps the more important side of the video. Okay, so pay attention to what I'm about to say. So we're switching our mindset to the weekly now. All right, so when we see bigger downturns, you often see that at the very beginning of this week, at the top of a, at the top of a move, right before a downturn, you often see, and I'll mark this, that the on Monday or Tuesday, you get this move up, and then the move down starts happening on a Wednesday or Tuesday or Thursday, between Tuesday and Thursday. That's often what happens. I have not back tested that on here. I don't know. This could have been all Sunday down move. I don't know, but that's often what happens. So let's mark a few of these where you see a weekly red candle near the top. And then we'll go to the daily and see what that looks like. So that one has a green one at the top. All right, that's enough. Okay, so now let's go to the daily chart. And we will see what days of the week things move down. And again, I'm on Ethereum. This could end up being slightly different on Bitcoin, but let's just take a look here. All right. So this is the first day of the week, right here, this doji, right? So that is the trading day Monday. The next day trading Tuesday was green, and then Wednesday you started your fall down. Okay, that is sort of what I'm anticipating could happen here. Essentially, a beginning of the week attack to the opposite side of where the actual move will go. All right, so once again, let's see here. This is Monday. This is Tuesday, and that is when, well, this is working out better than I thought it was going to. I know I've done this once before on Bitcoin, and it didn't actually work out quite as well as what. So this is working out really well. All right, so let's try this again. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, big push, and then your downturn on Thursday. So a big fake out, big beginning of the week attack in the opposite direction before a monster downturn. After a pretty aggressive move up, right? Were there any others? I think that was it, right? Yeah, I think that was it. All right, so those were pretty good examples. I actually did not plan that, so I don't think I could have planned that better. So let's go to Bitcoin. Actually, I think the point's proven. So, or the point is shown and demonstrated at least. So there is a, so what personally I'm anticipating, and my Patreon community is fully aware of this. I've been letting them know about this idea actually for a couple of weeks, because I thought there was a potential that the last week that we were in had the possibility of doing that, spiking up on Monday, Tuesday, and then really aggressively moving down on Wednesday, Thursday. It didn't happen. Cardano really held strong and it held up the entire market. It did not happen. So then I let them know, hey, again, the weekly candle's getting ready to close. If there's a downturn, I'm not necessarily pushing the idea of bearish sentiment on people. I let everybody know, hey, the trend is up. You're probably safer, or you are safer trading with the trend, and the trend is up. However, if there's a downturn, this is how I would anticipate it looking like. Because, and the reason I'm taking this tune is because, you know, the whole market has gone on a huge rally here, right? After a severe downturn, and those rallies often fail. And if you aren't familiar with that, just go to my previous Bitcoin videos, the most recent one or the most recent two, watch it on ×2 speed, and I fully analyze that, right? So, so what we could be looking at on Cardano, as I drew in here, on one of my daily updates for my Patreon community, and again, links on that in the description section if you want to see some of the actual content. So I didn't just make stuff up. I literally just copy paste the stuff I provided to the community, even links on videos, VIP stuff. So go check that out if you haven't already. But what I'm anticipating for this week is a green Monday, and then on Tuesday it starts coming down with a few bounces. But the general idea is I kind of anticipate a bounce, a market bounce on Monday. So this green candle is today. I drew these in a few days ago, anticipating Monday. Yeah, so I actually drew in a green candle here. So I think I made this, I made these candles on August 27th, a few days ago, because this is where I started, which means the candles were not there yet. So I got the first two candles roughly right. I said red day, green day, followed by a green day. So we'll see how that goes. Not the band. I'm not advertising for Green Day, even though I did see them in concert maybe in 2006 or so. Anyway, so so I've let people know that the trend is up, okay, and I'm pushing the general idea of caution. And if a downturn were to happen, this is what you would look out for, as opposed to stuff's going to tank now, stuff's going to tank now, even though I did tweet on that incorrectly when Bitcoin hit 42.5. I really thought it was going to bounce off that horizontal, and it just kept going, right? So there has been a time in recent history where I thought, hey guys, I think this is going to turn down, and I'm not saying that at this point. What I am saying is, if there is a downturn, because there likely will be one to some degree very soon, this is what specifically I would look for. Not necessarily saying I'm putting all my money on shorts right now. I'm not saying that. Please do not do that. The trend is up. This is what you would look out for if you are anticipating a down move and you're going to try to play it. And the cool thing about this sort of analysis is, let's say that you do agree, your general idea agrees with mine, right? You think there's going to be a downturn, and you think it might happen tomorrow, on the last day of August 2021. If things pump again, at least you know all the things to have looked for should there be a downturn, because if EMAs are bounced right off of, new highs are made, you know the exact points at which to get out of your trade, because the price versus EMAs or whatever levels we have within this video, they're not panning out. Things are going up, you know, to get out of your trade quickly, because what you were supposed to be looking for in a down move isn't happening. So get the heck out of your trade. So even if my general idea of caution is incorrect, knowing what to look out for and what to be cautious about is very important, even for the opposite side of the trade. I want to make that very clear. Hopefully you utilize that information this way. And so the reason I'm trying to be very specific with this is because a lot of people, you know, and perhaps correctly, sometimes I'm probably not as careful with my words as I should be. I definitely am at times. And so is everybody who talks all freaking day about, you know, anything really. But a lot of times, what I say can be seen as, oh, you know, he's bearish, I'm going to short. I don't want this to lead you to financial advice to, you know, putting a lot of money on specifically what I'm saying. Rather, to know a few cases of why it might go up, why it might go down, why Bitcoin might go sideways, my general opinions which you should not trade on opinions, on how statistically likely each one is and what to look out for. And then you can use that information for yourself. So hopefully you found this video helpful. If you liked what you saw and you're new, go ahead and hit subscribe button and the like and the thumbs up. And if you do subscribe because you're new, let me know in the comment section whether you want to be a cryptilian or a crypto crackhead. Those are the two gender neutral crypto pronouns that we use within the community, whether you're a part of Patreon or not. And once more, check out the links in the description section so you can see if it's worth your time and investment to check out an altcoin and trading driven crypto community. Y'all just got Timified.